The 21st century faces a new threat. The old school spies have had their day, and MI9 must find a new kind of agent. Welcome to MI High. Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another series review. And today I thought I'd take another dive back into my childhood. Whoa! Sorry, that's a really weird noise I wanted to make. I have no sound effects for this right now, but okay. This is a bit of a spontaneous review, so let's go. So, what was MI High about? Well, MI High was basically a really interesting series about a bunch of school kids getting recruited by MI9 and essentially growing and learning to become the best spies that they could become. However, their secret identities, even though covered in mist, would soon face the greatest danger, as the criminals of the 21st century would get closer and closer and closer to them. Each group of spies that was handpicked from the school would have their own set of skills, whether it's maths, intelligence, team building, puzzle solving. Each and every single one of them was chosen for a reason. Our series starts off by introducing us essentially to a guy named Lenny who lives in the basement and pretty much is like the Jerry that you might remember from Totally Spies. However, the big difference between him and Jerry is that Lenny pretty much spends most of his time undercover in the school posing as a school janitor. Eventually, he manages to convince the spies to come down to the basement and then recruits them for each mission each time. However, each time a spy is compromised, he finds himself in a position in which he must hire new students to take their place. Either because they're compromised because a villain has gotten to them, or they're compromised because they've moved on and gone to a better position somewhere else. He's not only teaching them to be spies in this series, but he's trying to teach them about living in the real world and living with their responsibilities. And I feel like this is the greatest message that came out of this show. Not only the way of balancing your life between a secret identity and trying to save the school, but also trying to balance the kind of ideals that you're learning from this. As the team go along, they either bicker or argue, and I feel like these are the most defining moments to them as they progress through this kind of lineage of where they're going. They're all trying to go somewhere after school, whether it's a better job or a better life, or maybe they just want to move away because of circumstances. But each time that this happens and gets brought up on the job, it begins to make things more tougher on the team and really starts to push them past the boundary of how far they can keep together. And the biggest testament of change, I would say, in this series as a whole is when Lenny is changed, it kind of shifts the kind of dynamic and really puts a lot of the spies at unease. They're not quite sure what to do with themselves. And when this happens, I feel like this is the greatest barrier they could have ever put in this series. However, the one drawback I feel like is when Lenny leaves is this idea that you're still trying to keep the same format. And I feel like over time, the only thing that kind of started to drag the show down a little bit is the fact that until they started introducing bigger, badder enemies, it felt like some of the dynamics were no different to the dynamics and challenges from Series 1. And for that reason, I do give it a strong 7, however, just based on the way that a lot of the concepts were basically pushing towards this idea of them balancing their lives. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next series review. Until then, goodbye, stay beautiful, and have an incredible night.